with the Gurindji people. She has lectured in sociology and social anthropology at the University of New South Wales. Until April 2012, Hannah was Executive Officer of the Sydney Peace Foundation. She is a founding member of the Australian Anti-Bases Campaign Coalition, which researches and campaigns against foreign military installations on Australian soil. She is presently active in a national peace organisation, the Independent and Peaceful Australian Network, IPAN. Hannah is also active in the defence of public housing. Okay, we'll start with Dr. Hannah Middleton.
Thanks. Good evening, everybody. I also acknowledge that we are meeting on the land of the Gadigal people, and acknowledge also that it is Aboriginal land, always was, always will be. I apologise for speaking sitting down. It's not my usual practice, but I'm just recovering from surgery and I'm a bit weak and I'm not sure I could stand for 25 minutes. But I really mean no disrespect to this audience. I want to start by making two matters clear. First, while individuals clearly can and do play a significant role, history is made by people, by the masses. I therefore find relatively little value in viewing the Russian Revolution through the prism of Lenin, Stalin, and/or Trotsky. I respect scholars who work on these influential figures, and I loathe the anti-communism that lies behind much of the discussion and writings about their actions, especially those of Stalin. Secondly, I reject Francis Fukuyama's view that the collapse of the Soviet Union meant, and I quote, liberal democracy has triumphed and mankind has reached its highest wisdom. History has come to an end, unquote. The collapse of the Soviet Union was presented by the defenders of capitalism as the final victory of the free market economy over communism. We won, exclaimed the editorial in the Wall Street Journal of the 24th of May 1989. It amuses me that supporters of capitalism, when they proclaim the end of socialism, so easily and conveniently forget how many decades it took this particular socio-economic formation to overcome feudalism and establish itself. I share Rosa Luxemburg's perceptive comment, written as early as 1900, that, quote, "It is impossible to imagine that a transformation as formidable as the passage from capitalist society to socialist society can be realized in one happy act. The socialist transformation supposes a long and stubborn struggle, in the course of which it is quite probable the proletariat will be repulsed more than once." With only 25 minutes, it's not possible to discuss the breadth of the revolution's achievements. So I'll limit myself to some comments on the economy and the position of women, and then a brief look at the Russian Revolution's impact around the world. In 1917, Russia was a backward, semi-feudal empire ruled by a Tsar, where vicious repression, exploitation, and grinding poverty ruled over the lives of the working class and peasantry. The Russian Empire contained many nationalities whose national sovereignty and languages were outlawed. Lenin called it a prison house of nations. Women's rights were non-existent. The revolution transformed it into a modern, developed economy with a quarter of the world's scientists, a health and educational system equal or superior to anything found in the West, able to launch the first space satellite and put the first man into space. The Russian Revolution ended Russia's involvement in the imperialist mass slaughter of World War I. Russian soldiers went back to help overthrow the government that had sent them to fight and die. We can say that the Russian Revolution was the most successful anti-war movement in history. The revolution brought about sweeping land reform for the peasants, abolished capitalism and created a socialist system that was capable of turning one of the poorest countries in the world into an industrial powerhouse, capable of smashing Nazi Germany and rebuilding after two major imperialist invasions to provide everybody with a guaranteed job, housing, education and healthcare. It brought about big advances in women's rights and in national rights for oppressed minorities, forming republics of ethnic regions, legalizing their languages and providing education in those languages, while also giving their economies special help through the planned economy. It also inspired millions of men and women who fought to bring it about. Mikhail Serafimovich, a private in the Guards Reserve Cavalry Regiment, sent this poem to a newspaper in 1917. Long live free Russia! The joyous cry floods my soul. Long live our freedom! The red flag stills my heart. A leaden weight has fallen. The world dreams a shining dream. I'm young again, my body drunk, my soul replete with feelings as vast and endless as drops in the cup of the sea. Before the revolution, Tsarist Russia was an extremely backward economy with a predominantly illiterate population. Out of a total population of 150